Hey Soul Family, this is the Leo full moon video. I'm Dev Hotep. I'm the goddess astrologer and sacred feminine life coach. So this full moon is happening on the 25th of January on Thursday, and it's happening at 11:54 a.m. Central Time. So that's 9:54 a.m. Pacific and 12:54 p.m. Eastern Time and 5:54 p.m. Universal Time. So wherever you are at in the world, this is the creative heart full moon. We as women often, so many women that I work with and coaching deal with creative insecurity, imposter syndrome, speaking your voice, really having like this nebulous fear of putting your talent out in the world or thinking that you need yet another certification before you finally step into this role of leadership, or really staying stuck at some ceiling. Like you grow and you put yourself out there, but then you get to some ceiling that is like this nebulous thing going on in the consciousness, probably past life, and then just get stuck there and don't actually keep scaling your business, keep moving forward in your life, keep putting your visibility out there, growing in your audience and so forth. And women have risen all over the world. Women are rising even more every single day. The feminine is not being suppressed any longer. Women's voices are we are getting out there, we're making money, we're doing so many things. So this is changing. And so the morphogenic field is changing. The web that all of life is connected to is adjusting and shifting every single time we heal or speak our voice or speak up about something or stand up for our values or advocate for ourselves. So this full moon is about the creative heart, healing creative insecurity, and really invoking the will of our heart. So this Leo full moon is ruled by the sun in Aquarius. And so we're dealing with the Aquarius Leo axes, they're opposite polarities, the two different sides of the same coin. And Aquarius is that little bit more impersonal, doesn't really quite care about the individual as much, but cares about humanity greatly, and very future forward, very innovative, wanting to move forward. Very much a fixed air sign, and Leo being this creativity, this more subjective energy, and wanting to, it's that fire, that fixed fire, and just wanting to like act upon its ideas and its creativity and its talents and gifts and just drive forward towards creating its destiny. And so the other thing about Leo is it's a fun, playful sign. It's a youthfulness, and it's a playfulness, an enthusiasm about life. It's the sun. So it's this constant warmth, and also, it's like radiating well-being. It's also like this vulnerable heart, because to really be in our heart, we have that vulnerability that comes with that, with being really truly authentic. And the Leo aspect can be like we're playing a role. It could be that we're putting on an act and not actually being our true authentic self, because that feels too vulnerable and too raw. And so some of the things that are important to know about when this full moon happens is that February 5th, we're going to be getting from now until February 5th, we're getting like this huge dose of clarity, of direction, of seeing clearly finally, because up until the 20th, we really haven't had much air in the chart. And then as soon as the 20th happens on Saturday, before this full moon is happening, we have Mercury moving out of shadow finally. And so that is done. That is complete. That Mercury retrograde story is complete. And so that's going to just bring so much clarity and like a finalization to that story, whatever your Mercury retrograde story was since November, 25th, since December. And so then what's going to happen is Pluto is going to move into Aquarius. You've been hearing about this everywhere, right? This is the biggest transit happening of the year. It's a 20-year transit. And I'm going into this deeply on the Pluto into Aquarius video. You can link to it right below this video in the description box, or go to my profile. Make sure you follow and subscribe there, and you can get the Pluto ingress into Aquarius video with sun sign horoscopes. So I'm going to go over everything kind of that's really important, and especially about this like biggest astrological week of the year, in that video. But leading up to this full moon, that's what's happening, is we really aren't having much air in the chart, and then bam, Mercury gets out of retrograde, Pluto moves from an earth sign, cardinal earth sign, into a fixed air sign, Aquarius. We get all of this influx of air. We then also have the Sun Pluto conjunction. It's a yearly transit, happens every year, but it's happening right before that Pluto moves into Aquarius at the very last degree and minute of Capricorn, which is really meaningful, really important. So again, I go into all of that in Aquarius ingress, the Pluto ingress Aquarius video. But so this full moon is on the heels of all of that happening. And so this, full moon is an illumination. It's an opposition to the sun. It's an illumination. It's the peaking of the moon, each moon cycle. And what is so powerful about this is that Leo is where we take our will to create our destiny. It's where we creatively self-actualize. It's where we step into our confidence. It's where we believe in our gifts and talents and we put them out in the world. And it's where we really embrace who we are and believe in ourselves, like understanding our own importance, understanding that we matter. And then of course there's the shadow of that. So let's get into this chart for this full moon and all of the important events leading up to this moon are in the Aquarius, or in the Pluto ingress Aquarius video. So definitely make sure to go watch that. And you'll get your sun sign horoscopes for this full moon. And so Pluto is now in Aquarius newly. The sun and Pluto conjunct in Aquarius, then the sun moved into Aquarius, and then Pluto right after. Pluto is conjunct Arachne, so this goddess asteroid, which is Spider Woman or goddess grandmother spider. And it is this energy, this archetype of this web of life that everything is connected to. So when something happens over here, it affects the web over here and so on. And it's really speaking to everything we do is shifting humanity forward. And so everything we do matters. It's really important. And no matter how small you might think you are or that your impact in the world is, it could have actually the greatest effect on humanity's evolution. It's so important. And this Leo archetype is really understanding like just how much you matter. The Leo full moon is at 5 degrees and 14 minutes. Here's the sun opposite this. And this Leo energy is to heal our creative insecurity. As most women, coaching hundreds and hundreds of women, I've found that most women have never actually had the room to grow throughout their lives. They have to carve it out later in adulthood, typically. I mean, there are exceptions that prove the rule. And usually with those exceptions of like maybe you or somebody in performance as a child, there's often all this wounding and all of these expectations and societal programmings around it. So it's not necessarily like you really actually got the chance to explore, to bloom, to grow, to experiment. And this Aquarius energy is experimentation. Aquarius is throwing things at the wall to see what sticks and not making it mean something negative when something doesn't work out. And this energy of this full moon is this Leo energy of really understanding like the playfulness of creativity and how children really just, they color in the walls, they just make something and then, toss it aside and make something else. That sort of unleashing of your own creativity instead of being so tightly constricted to some sort of perfectionism, to some sort of fear of what other people will think, of letting that go. We have the Libra South node, like we really are being asked to learn the emotional, these are the nodes of the moon, so the emotional lesson of not giving a fuck about what other people think, letting it go of what other people think. And while it's not going to just be a button that you can push and just turn that voice off, like, what do you do? How do you do that thing? And that's what I help women with in coaching. You learn the skills of pattern interruption, very, very effective, of like hacking the neural pathways so that you shut that down, that mechanism that's always looking like, what would these people think? And then it makes you stop your own creative exploring, your own creative making of things, making projects in your business, writing a book, making a podcast, scaling your business to the next level, doing webinars, doing, you know, installations or works of art, or stepping out into greater visibility. You know, most people are not creating at a level that they're actually capable of, and that would really create a lot of joy, a lot of accomplishment, a lot of aplomb and fulfillment. The thing about this full moon being ruled by the sun in its opposite sign is that the symbiosis that's so important in this full moon, the symbiosis of the Leo, where if Leo's standing on stage, it doesn't matter unless there's somebody in the audience, unless there's an audience. And Aquarius is the collective, Aquarius is the rest of humanity. So we're all on stage in our lives or in our business in some ways, and then it's other people's turn to be on stage. And the symbiosis of this appreciation, because Leo energy has the ability to really promote and advocate the special talents of other people. You know, the really big shadow of Leo is not shining and wanting to be kind of placated to wanting people to like put all of the attention and energy onto that archetype, to then like put the work out into the world. And also one of the shadows is like waiting for other people to join in. You know, Leo is life force energy, it's creative power, it's, you know, radiating well-being, it's this self-expression at this highest level. And so understanding your own importance in this world, especially after we've had the sun talk to Pluto at the last degrees of Capricorn, and understanding all of that will be really important for this full moon. This full moon is square Jupiter. It's an applying square to Jupiter at 6 degrees. You know, Jupiter square the moon, it's like this. Jupiter rules our learning, it rules our wisdom, our belief system, it rules our, you know, ability to like really have this expansion and optimism, and I don't really like the words faith and hope. For the most part, they don't really create really great results in the world, but that sort of idea of like having trust in your own process of life, and Jupiter rules that. And so in Taurus, it's been increasing our persistence and our resourcefulness, and teaching us self-reliance, teaching us the ability to rely on our own capabilities. You know, we don't know all that we're capable of until we're put in a situation and we're forced to find out. And that's when we actually develop a relationship with our own resourcefulness, with our own capabilities that we didn't even know we had, because we were never in a situation where we had to discover them. And most of humanity is really, really has a lot of privilege, really has a lot of, in Western countries, like really has a lot of comfort that keeps people from really having to find out what their metal is, you know. And so we're really learning this with this Jupiter here in Taurus since last May. Jupiter tends to spend about 12 months in a sign. And so this square is this death and rebirth of like really the way that we like narrate and think about and our emotions around our creativity, our, you know, actualizing, our creating of our goals, our accomplishments, creating our goals, our being out in the world with our own unique talents and gifts and doing that. And so, you know, there's something here about dying to some old story or narrative that is making us hold ourselves back, because Jupiter's co-present with Uranus, and Uranus is individuating Earth. It's individuating the stuck old ways that we've been doing life, Taurus. And Taurus can be really narrow in its view of things and not seeing the whole rest of the possibilities. And Jupiter is expanding possibilities, expanding the chance to understand what's possible, what you're capable of, what you can do, instead of doing the old habitual things. Because Taurus isn't really, it's a fixed earth sign. We say the word fixed, but it's really a solidity. But solidity is something within yourself that if you base it upon outside things, then it's never going to feel solid, because those always shift and change. And the more that we have this accelerated evolution on the planet, the more that we move forward with everything that's shifting and changing, the more we realize that like there's nothing that's really stable in the world. We can be stable within ourselves. And that's the huge lesson here of having this determinate will, this creative will of the heart, Leo, to expand our optimism about what we can do. And Taurus is this, self-reliance, this reliance upon our own capabilities, this self-dependence, self-governance, self-rule, instead of like not taking responsibility and blaming everyone else. It's really important. This quincunx to Saturn, Saturn came off of that conjunction to Fomalhaut, this sacred feminine, fixed star of humility and wisdom, and Saturn's co-present in Pisces with Neptune at home in Pisces. And Neptune's been teaching us the lesson of discerning truth from falsehood. And so Saturn here, the reality Saturn, is a little bit more wave than particle. And so it's very malleable. And also it's really wanting to base, our society and our world upon new value systems that are transcendent value systems that are really connecting to our interconnectedness to all of life, our relationship to the celestial, to the earth, to how everything is all one, all connected. And understanding that, like walking in life as if that's something that's understood, behaving in life as if that's something that is understood. Obviously, there's going to be that percentage of the population that is narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, that is, damaged ego, such wounded people, they're not going to ever do the inner work or change. That is that section of the population that is going to try to always control and dominate and usurp and keep whatever power they may appear to have. But the rest of the population is able to evolve and grow and heal, and we're on that trajectory to do it. And all of us who are pioneering and going first, while it's wildly challenging and wildly hard and difficult, it's going to be easier and easier and easier for those that come behind us. And so it's so important to understand, like, this quincunx is going to be, making things challenging. When you're putting things into the reality, it's going to be making things, there's going to be growing pains and adjustments, and it's not necessarily going to have the most flow, but don't make that mean to stop. It doesn't mean stop. It doesn't mean anything went wrong here. So really look at how you're narrating things. Are you narrating as like if there's a bubble in the hose, a kink in the hose, that it means to stop? It just means unkink the hose. It just means there might be 3 more steps. It just means you have to find a workaround, but keep going and realize that there's a sextile to Venus and Capricorn. She wants to build and grow. There's a sextile to Jupiter, which really wants to get the work done with the sextile to Saturn. And Venus, she loves to be in like the fire signs, right? But she here is putting structures in place and is determined. And it's a sign, Capricorn is a sign of moving from point A to point B. We take the celery from the farm to the grocery store. We're accomplishing something. We're climbing up the mountain. We're going from here to here. We're changing something, and changing our lot in life, changing you know, like obviously Capricorn is related to status, but that's more of the patriarchal version of it. But it is accomplishing some goal, some accomplishment, and it is taking up space in the world. And so there's this help from this, and understanding that this, while we have all of this going on, we have this Mars that's back in bounds now, conjunct Mercury at the time of this full moon, and square to the nodes, square to Chiron, and in an exact square to Chiron. And so it's so important to understand that like Chiron is healing, and it's what needs to be healed. And it's also great skill, great mastery of like being a Jill of all trades, like this resourcefulness, this mastery of so many things, and so much co-present here in Taurus is like Uranus is trying to individuate us from the old things we were reliant upon to feel stability, and to now be reliant upon our own self. Like people try to think money is stability, or the house or the car, or these things, and materialism is so glamorized in the overculture. But what is truly stability is you always having the ability to act. So what's really stability is your health, great night's sleep, you know, emotional mastery, emotional management, like being able to manage your emotions. So many people don't have this ability to manage their emotions. All of my clients in coaching learn emotional mastery. Like they learn to be so skilled with emotions, because everything you want in life is because of the way you think it's going to make you feel. And everything that you are trying to get away from in your life, or avoiding, or don't want to deal with, is because of the way it makes you feel. And so when you can actually not run away from your emotions and face them head on and be masterful with them, and create and activate emotions that you desire to feel, now you're a creator in your life. Now you're creating the results and the accomplishments and the goals that you want. And so, you know, Leo moon, it's like telling us, it's like, what do we have to do to create? Well, Cancer comes before Leo. And so we need to have emotional security, Cancer, to really have our Leo putting our gifts out into the world, having visibility, speaking on stage, come from a place of inner security. And this Taurus is the self-reliance, like knowing that like I always got it. You know, it's the MacGyver of the zodiac, right? It's this MacGyver of the zodiac. So this Mars has been helping us to like build structures, get things accomplished. It's also been helping us to think about things in a better way, to like clear things up, to clear obstacles and blocks out of the way, because we're facing them and dealing with them. Mars is very happy in Capricorn. Mars is wanting to, you know, take action, and you know, Capricorn is structures, but it's really this energy of moving something from the project, progressing the project forward, maybe completing the project, it's accomplishment. And so square the, you know, the nodes, and square Chiron, it's like, well, what about this energy of what needs to be healed? What is the past that we let us hold ourselves back, you know? And everyone has gone through so much evolution in the last 4 years. Everyone has dealt with shitty relationships and healing those, and getting out of those. People are, you know, doing the inner work, finally facing their emotions, finally healing. So much is happening for us as humanity, and we're shifting and we're growing, and Mercury is going to come through here. And Mercury, having moved out of shadow on the 20th, is, you know, comes through here and is now going to be, has been giving us, since it moved out of shadow, all this clarity. And from now until February 5th, when it moves into Aquarius and hits that 0-degree mark, where Pluto has been going back and forth over, and moving in and out of, and the sun, you know, hit that point, then Pluto hit that point, that, you know, it's going to give us a lot of information, a lot of clarity, a lot of direction, a lot of seeing how everything shakes out from a very, very long time, and long, like process of death and rebirth that we've been going through. But it's really not just one process of death and rebirth. It's been a bunch of death and rebirths within one long big process that we've been going through. Pluto in Capricorn since 2008, Pluto reveals the secrets. It makes things conscious that were deeply subconscious. So it's like we might have sort of gotten it, that society was fucked, that the overculture was built on patriarchal rule, and women were suppressed, and there was no equality, and people weren't cared about. But now the sidewalk has been rumbled apart, and everything is just like, hanging out in the wind, and nothing is hidden and unknown anymore. But the thing about the 29th degree, where the sun and Pluto had this conjunction, is that it's the anaretic degree. It's the last degree of a sign before a planet moves into a new sign. And so what it's asking us is to make everything that we were getting, we were understanding, we were just intuiting, we got it, make it conscious, put it into practice. Most people I talk to, there's so much knowing, and Aquarius can be a know-it-all, just like Sag can be a know-it-all. But what about practice? We have to put it into practice. And this, Leo moon is giving us this push to put it into practice, to do it, to make the thing. Fire energy wants to take this ethereal light, this creative force, this life force energy, and to make it into stuff. So make the book, make the children's book, make the computer program, create the beautiful space at home, create the experience for your clients, like create the thing in your business, the project, get the things accomplished, put the plants in the planters, like do the things. So it's really this important thing of not just being in our head, but really like closing that gap between concept and practice, between concept and action, make it applicational in our life, like do the thing. Knowing something doesn't mean anything. It's like you can just know things, so what? But the actual practice, the actual application in your life, that's where something shifts, something changes. We're changing reality. We're changing things. We're shaping this world in a new way. And so this is so important. It's really, really beautiful. There's just so much astrology that's like come before this full moon. There's definitely some things going on here. A couple other things, I guess, that are really important, and then I'm going to just move into the sun sign horoscopes. And I really encourage you to go watch that Aquarius into Pluto ingressing Aquarius video. It's going to be really, really fun. But at the time of this full moon, the nodes are conjunct Shiva and conjunct Lucifer. And Lucifer is this asteroid of bucking the status quo, and it's conjunct the North Node. And the North Node is our growth potential. It is the nodes in general are the emotional lessons we're meant to learn right now. So, Aries, autonomy, independence, courage, initiative, taking action, fire sign, action. It's a cardinal fire sign, moving in a direction, taking action, catalyzing, moving. We're meant to learn the lessons of Libra, which is tolerance for all peoples except, narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, and damaged ego people, except for them. Tolerance of, different perspectives, the pronouns, the gender identities, the relationship diversity, the way people want to live, the way people want to do work, all the different ways of life, all the different, I don't celebrate, do birthdays, stop, let's pull our manuals, because here's the thing about Libra is relationships. So let's make sure we pull our manuals off people and quit having a handbook for how people supposedly should be, because it doesn't help us. It just frustrates the hell out of us, and it causes so much stoppage of actually doing the creative self-actualization, actually doing the creative efforts in our life, having fun. Leo is the sign that wants to have fun, wants to laugh, wants to play. It's very playful, enthusiastic, and inspiring. I have a friend with the Leo moon, and she just has not only this beautiful sturdiness within her that's so lovely, but she just sees life in this magical way. And there's always just this ready to play thing about her, ready to smile, laugh, and play, ready to see the good, ready to inspire and be inspired. Like, it's like just such a wonderful, wonderful human and a wonderful quality to be around. And that's that like Leo energy of just this creativity and playfulness and like it's like looking at life as if it was Play-Doh, where it's always moldable and shapeable. And it's like, let's workshop this, let's try this, let's play with that idea, let's put this on, let's look at it from this angle. It's really just this beautiful way to look at things. And so with this Libra, we're learning that emotional lesson of Libra's relationships, but what about relationships is it? Because we want to understand that, because Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is Taurus and Libra. So Taurus is the relationship with self, and Libra is the relationship with others. And so the thing about this Libra South Node is like we're learning the lesson of thinking, examining from a distance, and not taking the Aries action on our goals and dreams and the creative fire within us. So that creative insecurity holding us back. Like we'll have an idea, but we just stop. And like really with this full moon, one of my tenets of life is stop, drop, and create. As soon as I get a channel or an idea, I stop, drop, and create. And if something is in the way of that and I'm not doing that, I sit down and try to figure out and solve that and solve for that, because it's like, what is making it to where I don't want to like create right now? Because it's literally our life force energy. It's the sun. Leo is ruled by the sun. So it's literally our life force energy. The sun makes everything, the solar goddess, she makes everything green and fecund and beautiful, and makes the warmth to survive, to live, to have life, like literally. And so what is it that's making you like not stop, drop, and just create? Like, why is that not the most important thing? Because it's actually feeding your life force energy. And so with this Libra, it's like really learning to stop examining things from a distance. And it's also this masculine sign. It's also this deliberating and calculating and like getting into the courtroom and the court system, and look at our justice system. It's not just, and it's based on human-made law, man-made law, not natural law. Sagittarius, it's not based on natural law and what we know is right and true. So many people in law enforcement don't care about the truth. They just want to attach a person to a crime and close up shop, close up that problem. They don't actually work to find justice. So many innocent people in prison, and so many people that should be in prison are not. And and so much white collar crime, like, oh, it's white collar, it's okay, they get away with it. It's just like, we where's the justice? And so we're learning these emotional lessons of Libra, which is tolerance for so many different walks of life and ways of life, but realizing that you can really have tolerance for somebody without having them be a relationship that you're involved in. Libra is actually discernment. It's compassion with discernment for what relationships really actually are reciprocal, nourish me, are the right ones for me. And so many people are having relationships with people who are narcissists, having relationships with people who are psychopaths, having relationships with people just because they're family. And it's like, I'm not really the average person at all in any way, shape, or form. I really won't tolerate anything that brings me down, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have consequences. Like, to get shitty people out of my life might mean you don't have anybody in your life for a period of time. And I've went through that a lot, because it's like, well, I'm not going to be with somebody that's going to manipulate me, or somebody that can't be reciprocal, or somebody that can't show up, and obviously leaving room for humaning, natural, like human things that happen. If somebody's had 3 deaths in their family, they're probably not going to be able to show up for a while. And like, it's time for me to show up for them. So that's not, I'm talking about where it's just not a reciprocal relationship. So it's like, why are you keeping relationships around that aren't feeding you, that don't want for your success, that don't nourish you and lift you up? And why? And one of the things is that this whole thing we're doing here on Earth is about evolution. It's not about everything else we tend to think it's about. And so we often aren't really always in control of what we would like, because it's teaching us, it's making us learn lessons that's what, we're here to do. Um, Sometimes it is this tricky thing in life where it's like you do want to be like this Leo happiness, but also, we're here to evolve, and we're getting some of the most intense evolution that we've had on the planet for a really, really long time. So one of the things is to really give yourself a break, give yourself a break about the intensities on the planet, the ascension highs and low lows that you go through when you're on the spiritual awakening journey, that you have these intense times of new awakening, and then you're in an integration phase, and that integration phase can really usurp daily life or structures and practices. Also, if you're a person who's had trauma in your life, it's really different from somebody else that has the privilege of not having to have gone through intense trauma. It's a different life for you. It's a different life for us who have had to go through intense trauma in life. I really advocate to not be disempowered with trauma, and also to know that you can heal from it completely. And I help my clients to do just that in my 6-month coaching program, Alchemical Goddess. So however, like, we want to be empowered around it, but it does mean that we have different variables, different things to deal with than people who have the privilege of not had to go through intense trauma. And so really understanding your life and narrating it in a way that actually serves you. So many of us narrate our lives or circumstances in our lives in a way that is just even more disempowering. Half of the wound is how we narrate the injury. And so we really want to narrate things in a way that is so nourishing and so empowering. The other thing about this Libra South Node conjunct Shiva, it's like this goddess asteroid Siva, but it's really about this Indian deity Shiva. It's a masculine deity. It's a trickster energy, and it's with the South Node. And so we have to really skew it negatively because it's with the South Node. And it's saying like this trickster, gaslighting, acting like everything's fun in a game, like this monkey in your face, and like, and like then telling you like you have to like it, and I'm really doing the good things for you. I'm really doing the good things for you. I'm taking care of you. I'm watching over you, father patriarchy. Like, we are shedding that. This full moon is illuminating that for people in the collective to see this more and more and more, so that we can shift out of it, so we can change it. And so it's very much this illumination of this, and this will be gone in a week. We'll be off of this Lucifer and Shiva conjunct the nodes. But Lucifer here is bucking the status quo, but it's also like crazy weird shit. Like, I have Lucifer in the 6th house, so 6th house is small animals. Like, I've had crazy shit go down with small animals. Like, I've had someone shoot my cat in the eye with in the eyeball, still alive, like horrible, horrible shit, and so it's like things like that. Like, you can't prevent it from happening necessarily. You're like in it before you even know that's what's happening. And then like immediately you can see like, oh my God, I could have made this, and this like different, play here. But also, that's how we actually learn. But it's, Lucifer is exactly like what you would expect, right? Like these crazy dark types of experiences that you're just already in before you can even like see that there might have been some way to prevent it. Maybe you could have, maybe not. And like, with this situation, like I could have like demanded, like, take this cat to euthanasia. It was like hit by a car and it needed to be put down, but like to like demanded like to like go to the vet and euthanize it. But I was a child at the time. I didn't have the money and stuff like that. So I didn't really have a whole lot of control. But yeah, really cool, really crazy, really horrible situation there. But Lucifer is also this archetype of bucking the status quo, of going against you know, what everybody says is supposedly the right thing, the whole glamour, the illusion that people are under that looks like Placid Lake, what looks like the Stepford Wives, like, oh, this is all the pretty idealistic way of life. Like we have the car and the materialism, and the materialism is so glamorized and scintillating, and the patriarchal way that is depraved sexuality is like, oh, it's what we're supposed to do. And actually, you know, it's a giant spell and program. It's a giant illusion and glamour that is actually quite horrifying once you start to poke the hole, you know, put a pin in that balloon and you're like, oh, this is actually evil and dark and really sick and really disgusting. Like, oh wow. Oh wow. I've been going along with my own feminine, you know, objectification and sexualization of my body. Oh wow, you know, all the things that we women are waking up from. I really feel very fortunate that I did not like sexualize my body or objectify my own body, but I did twist myself into pretzels for a long time for people. And you know, I think being really real about it, especially when we're in like sacred sisterhood, is helping us all to heal from what we've been under. Because when you're under a program or a spell, like you don't know it until you finally know it. You know, you're blind all the time that you're learning to see. And that's what's kind of like a little bit like, oh, that's a real ouch point, you know, that you're just like, fuck, you know, I couldn't see it. And then finally like, oh, damn, I can't not see it now. Oh shit. And integrating eyes open, that is really jarring. It's usurping to like some structures that you might want to hold in your life, you know. This Chiron here conjunct the North Node nearing, you know, the nodes move backwards, so it's in an applying conjunction to Chiron. The North Node is, and that North Node of Aries, like, you know, stepping into owning an identity, owning a personality, you know, learning how to deal with threats in a different way. Look at your rising sign. That's how you deal with threat. And are you doing it in the shadow or are you doing it with the light? Because it has the answer to both. And if you want to come and join my 12-week online Healing Through the Zodiac retreat, you will learn this stuff. And it's so fun and so powerful. It's only $97. We're going to do Sacred Sister Circle style of meetings every single week. I did this event last year and it was so amazing. Like there was just this core group of women that came every single week and we just had explosive transformation and shifts and powerful like sister bonds and connection. It was really, really magical. So you don't want to miss Healing Through the Zodiac online 12-week retreat. The link is below. So like go check that out now. You can go and find out more about it. I'm not going to be teaching like the boring ass myths and the shit that is not going to help you. I'm going to be teaching the signs in a very practical applicational way in your life. It's going to be very powerful. And so this Aries is this energy of like, how do I deal with threat? This Chiron, it's like healing our old ways of handling threat, healing our old instinctual nature that we have had to, as women, push aside to survive this world, this largely woman-hating patriarchal world. We've had to push our instinctual nature that says, get out. No, I'm not doing this. I need to speak now. I have needs. I have boundaries. We've had to deny that instinctual nature that tells us everything we need to know in the moment we need to know it, just to survive this old world, but not anymore. There's been a democratization of information, of consciousness, and technology, which has allowed everyone to find an income outside of the old patriarchal structures and the overculture way of life that is crumbling and being dismantled, and is, you know, the ground is shifting, the tectonic plates are shifting underneath it, and everything is changing. I know it's not fast enough, but also it's also lightning fast in some ways that are very unsettling in ways. And so this energy here of this is this like wanting to you know, we've seen it. We've seen that humanity, and especially the group of awakened people around the planet, is taking back their autonomy, and there's so many consequences of it. There's so many symptoms of it. We're going through all of these symptoms of taking back our autonomy, taking back our self-reliance, believing in ourselves, believing in our capabilities, starting to learn and commune with our own possibilities, capabilities, self-governance, self-dependence. And there's all these symptoms of that where people are very short-tempered, impatient, won't give leeway for somebody just to walk down the streets, don't want to take turns, there's this lack now of like sharing and tolerance and allowing. And it's a symptom of people taking back their autonomy and their power from 6,500 years of suppression and of domination and just depravity on the planet. And so unfortunately, though, there's a lot of symptoms to that we are having to deal with until it works itself out. And it starts, it's going to have to take time to integrate this into a new way of being, where it's like somebody that just suppressed me or tried to dominate all over me. I'm not, no, I'm taking up space here now. No, you don't get to speak. No, I'm not listening to you. But obviously it's causing a lot of confrontations, a lot of ruckus, a lot of fights, not in this in like the typical sense of thinking about fights, but fighting type of energy. That type of confrontational energy is on the planet so heavily right now. And it's just a symptom of humanity taking back its power. But we don't have the integration yet. And who can say what that's supposed to look like? I think very much remember to navigate this world via your intuition. So, so, so important. And remember that Aquarius is vibration and frequency. It's air, but air isn't necessarily thoughts. Air is what is everything in the air, everything that's invisible, vibration, frequency, energy. So Aquarius is actually not so much thoughts, it's energy. It is frequency and vibration, it's energy. So Aquarius, the two wavy lines are actually energy, and those energy could be thoughts, but it could be emotions, it could be information, it could be frequencies, it could be light. It can be water, evaporation of water, moisture. Aquarius is like moving water from underneath the earth to another place. And so it is this idea of water nourishes. And so there is this nourishment in a way, but also this very kind of disconnected energy. Like the Aquarius can have a very like objective way of handling life, where Leo is very subjective. I want to hug you and touch you and feel you and be up in the story and like what's going on and tell me all about it. And Aquarius is like observing that from a distance, and then what happened next, and then tell me like, did you turn left? And like you're sitting there crying and they're like, well, did you turn right? Like they're getting all the facts. Very impersonal energy. And so it's this marrying of these two energies of this Leo Aquarius. So there's a lot here. I can't wait for you to check out the Pluto into Aquarius video, everything that you need to know about that. I think it's going to be really fun. I've got some big ideas to share that downloaded that the guides want you to know. So sending you lots of love. I'm going to go into the sun sign horoscopes for all 12 signs, and definitely join the Healing Through the Zodiac 12-week online retreat. The link is below. It's only $97. It's $297 value. So at least go check it out and see all of the information about that. I'd love to have you there. I'm doing free master classes every week. I'm really holding some amazing classes with so much value and information. We're going into astrology, we're going into sacred feminine healing, we're going into financial healing, we're going into so much. So I really encourage you to go to my website, empoweredwomenrise.com, and download your free astrology mini course, because you'll get that, but then you'll also be notified when the master classes are happening. And so you can join those if one really sounds fun. They are free. So it is so much fun, and you're in female community. You really can meet amazing people. So hope to see you there. If you want to purchase an astrology reading, you can go to my website, empoweredwomenrise.com, and you can purchase an astrology reading there. You can work with me. I have a sliding scale, so if you can't afford my standard price, I got your back. So there is a sliding fee scale there, so don't be afraid to pay what you can. And there's testimonials there, and you can see a lot of great information. And if you've been wanting to change your life with coaching, you know, come into coaching. What I do is a free discovery call. You'll absolutely get the transformation of acute clarity from that call. Clarity is power. Clarity unlocks the door to motivation, direction, gives you energy. It gives you stamina and motivation. So, you know, come find out about, you know, come get that transformation and book a free discovery call. And you can do that on empoweredwomenrise.com on the homepage. And, you know, coaching changed my life. It saved my life. And it's what I use to this day to keep up leveling, to growing my self-worth. You know, coaching has taught me to respond to life, not based upon what I fear, but based upon the results I want to create in my life. You know, coaching has helped me to not just make decisions, but to follow through on those decisions and to completion, which has changed my life. You know, it's not really a skill that we actually learn for the most part. And we usually have it in one area of our life, but not in another. So I really encourage you to book that free discovery call. And you don't have to do anything, you just get to show up. I'll do all the work. And sending you so much love. I really appreciate you being here. Please throw a like on this video. It really helps other women find really great information that they may need right at this moment. So make sure to throw a like on that, please. And subscribe if you want to be notified whenever these videos come out. They will pop up in your feed when you subscribe, and you won't have to worry about go chasing it down and trying to find your sun sign horoscopes every couple of weeks. So I put these videos out every 2 weeks with your sun sign horoscopes. So I'm sending you all lots of love. Thank you for being here. Please like and share and subscribe, and I'll talk to you in your individual sun sign horoscopes. Make sure to watch your rising and your sun. Solar chart is great and has a lot of great information. Your rising is your natal birth chart and is amazing. Put the two together and you really have an understanding of where this full moon is happening for you in your life. I'll see you in the sun signs. All right, let's get into this. Aries. You've got the 1-to-1. So this full moon is happening in your 5th house, obviously, because it's a Leo full moon. And the sun and everything is going down in your 11th. And so this is so much about everything Leo, you know, it's children, it's that creative fecundity, it's procreative ability, it's the creativity and creation, but in all ways, you know, and it is well-being and it's happiness and it's joy and it's romance. And so with the 5th house being romance and children and taking your will to create your destiny, with it being all those things, romance and children could be metaphors for you or could be literal for you, depending on what's going on. You know, maybe you're blooming a new romance. Maybe you're finally seeing the illumination of a relationship you were in that, you know, was abusive or not healthy, or that you finally got out of. And same things with children, you know. With the Leo energy, there's this restoration of feeling this trust relative to life. That's what this Leo energy really is, like this comfort relative to human society, like this simple, unambiguous joy at being alive. There's something about the Leo energy that can really have its trust damaged. And so really understanding that just creating and creating and creating and greasing the wheels of your own creation is what's going to allow you to overcome any of sort of the issues and limitations and blocks that you have to making your own stuff. I see a lot of women who will like repost other people's stuff. It's like, make your own posts, write your own material, make your own asset, you know, decide how you want to do business. You don't have to do business any particular way, but however you're going to do it, you'll need to create, you know, whether it's just emails and copy or, you know, design and all of these things, but it's like, make the creations, whatever it is, whether it's courses or the services that you offer or experiences. It's this creative, you know, the creativity is kind of like a river or like fire, you know, it's this river where it very much has to like grease the wheels. It has to continue to flow to find the smooth, amazing parts in the river. It has to continue to flow. And so it has to flow over all the bumps and the obstacles and the gaps. The square to Jupiter in the second house, there is this all of this money lack, abundance issues coming up. Like, you're thinking like you can't be creative because you got to make money, or if you won't make money if you try to do your creative work. It's really about this death and rebirth that's happening in this area of your life with this quincunx to Saturn and the 12th, of really owning your creativity, owning your psychic connection to the ethers and the ethereal and the divine, and having that co-creation of reality, having that co-creation of what is the purpose of your life. Because Leo energy, it's this purpose, it's our ambitions, it's our destiny, like what we're here to do. It's our life purpose. So it's our sacred calling. And so there is some adjustments, there is some growing pains here to this, for sure. Jupiter is our optimism, and there's some growing pains around like providing for yourself, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like how you make money. And like don't let that stop you from doing the creative work and thinking that the thing you do for money is the most important thing and the creative work is less important or secondary. It's really primary. So if there's something here about moving that out of tertiary spot and into a primary spot for you. Let's pull you some cards, Aries. So the sacred flow of yes, wanting you to stop, drop, and create, just do, like really being in, like, where also do you really feel called to? Like, can you feel your yes and no in your body? Like when you think about doing this activity and it really just feels like a no, everything in you kind of clamps up. But there's really important discernment with that. Is it because it's a fear or a wound or trigger or trauma that you're clamping up and that actually needs to be resolved, and you're supposed to do the thing, it's a creative thing, or you're supposed to get out and go talk to people, but you have this clamping up. So are you discerning between the two? Sometimes you're clamping up because it's really a no. It's a no for you. You don't actually want to do that. It's dead energy. It's not going to take you in a positive direction. You're getting that intuitive knowledge. But other times people think it's that when it's actually just their trauma and wounds that are holding them back from getting out into the world. So really want to have discernment between the two there, and really listen to everything in your system that's telling you your yes, and follow your yeses, follow your intuition. You got this card, magic happens when you most expect it, really being in the story in your mind of believing in what you can create, believing in what you can make possible and make happen. And that Aries energy is that fire, initiation, spark, catalyzing, catalyst energy. And so really being in this idea of like seeing the vision and like willing it to be. And so this, full moon is this creative will of the heart, like invoke this will that this is so, like this is happening and just take the steps to that destination. Creator air is, there's something here with your three cards really asking you to mind your mind to really learn mind management, and coaching you will learn how to watch your mind and start responding to life based upon what you want to create versus what you fear. Really watching your mind and putting a gap in between your response and your reaction that isn't creating what you want to create in your life, that may be a trauma response or a wound reaction. And so there's something here about really questioning all those thoughts in your mind and seeing if they are creating great results or not, because our thoughts always end up in our results in our life, our outcomes. So all the outcomes we have has a lot to do with what we've been thinking. So we want to really get clear about that, Aries. There's definitely something here about managing your mind, questioning all those thoughts, not believing all your thoughts are true. We so often have a story and we act in our life as if it's true, when really it's just a sentence in our mind. It's not actually true. Ambush your fears with your ferocious dreams. So it's really wanting you to turn the volume up on what you want to create in this world, and the volume down on your overthinking mind that is stopping you from creating and taking action and believing in what is possible for you. This real optimism. Anything that's rising is coming up to be healed and cleared. Really, it's always a learning or a success. It's one of the two. So if you can look at it in that way, like, what am I meant to evolve and transform here? Or I'm successful, one of the two. All right, Aries, sending you lots of love. Subscribe, like, and share. And I hope to see you in the Healing Through the Zodiac online retreat. The link is below if you want to go check out all the details about it. Sending you lots of love. Taurus, full moon happening in your 4th house, all about this inner emotional security and the stability within yourself, no matter what the swaying winds are, and really having this sense of who you are, your self-image, your sense of yourself that then grows into the world, goes out into the world to take up space in the world. But it's this sense of home. It's this sense of your roots, of family. So this could be family issues and dynamics. So full moon, it's illuminating something. And it's also this moment of high emphasis that's occurring. And so, like, what's happening in your home and your family, you might be having a lot of things becoming clear that weren't clear before. Like, maybe you want to move, maybe you're seeing family dynamics that you are really wanting to resolve and be done with. Maybe you're wanting to open up your family to more people. Maybe the family situation is changing, but it's really our roots, our foundation, like how we have a sense of stability, and not having that be based on materialism, because that's always going to shift and change. We don't really have control over that. Is your sense of stability within your own emotional core? Do you have emotional mastery? Are you running away from your emotions? Are you pushing them down, suppressing them, and repressing them? Because it will never work. You'll never create your dreams. You'll never live like the most amazing life that you can. And we are on this adventure here. We are, like, making this artwork with our life as much as we can. This Leo energy is about inspiration. And so there's a square to Jupiter in your 1st house. There's this quincunx to Saturn in your 11th house. We're talking about groups, your audience, bringing your gifts to the world. We're talking about, collaborations and friendships here. There's this quincunx. There's this energy of adjustments and growing pains, and maybe like great difficulties here. Also with Jupiter in your 1st, there is this energy of this square of like challenging who you feel like you are. And there's something shifting and changing. The tectonic plates are changing. So a lot is revealed. A lot is moving here. Like, you're meant to shine, but based upon this like stable foundation of your own ability to handle any emotion that you might ever come across within your own psyche. I do a 4-step process with my clients. They learn my 4-step process, very simple, and they learn how to deal with any emotion, no matter what it is. If you can handle any emotion, then there's nothing in life that can ever throw you. And so it's really important, this kind of 4th house, 10th house axes of this full moon, about your sense of stability within yourself to go take up space in the world and shine. And for all of you, this is going to kind of be really interesting to see what it's about for you. There's some sort of tension. Opposition is a tension between shining in the world and home and family life. And it's also, though, meant to be an integration. It's like, how can you integrate it? How can you find that solution? You got the card Feed Your Artist, wanting you to make sure to feed your light, feed your joy, feed the creativity itself, feed that Leo creativity itself. what sparks it. Maybe you need to take in information to spark ideas, to spark your own channel flowing. Maybe you need to paint, maybe you need to color or make things like out in parks and make installations, or, you know, commune with trees or be close to a bubbling river. Maybe you need to dance or sing or chant or move your body, do yoga, or you know, self-pleasure. However it is for you that you need to feed your artist, it's really important to do just that. Remember, Taurus is all about you know, autonomy and self-reliance and being able to understand what you're capable of, what resources you are in and of yourself, you know. And you have lead your metamorphosis, where it's asking you to be the one that jumps into the transmutation. Transmutation is different than transformation. Transformation is staying the same, but something shifting. And transmutation is becoming something completely different. Lead into gold, two completely different elements, or the lemon into the lemonade. You know, the lemonade came from the lemon, but it's not a lemon anymore, right? So transmutation is this metamorphosis into something completely different than what it was before. You know, the caterpillar, you know, the walls of the caterpillar's body become the wings of the butterfly, and it's a completely new being. It's a transmutation. And so this metamorphosis into this new thing, this new creature of yourself, you know. Taurus is very close to the earth. It's a creature, you know, dirty toes and muddy hands, and like getting into the earth and, you know, playing with earthworms, like being close to the earth. And so what is this metamorphosis that's happening in your life? And how can you go with it instead of fight it? How can you nourish yourself through it, you know, feeding your artist? How can you love yourself through it? Give yourself compassion, support yourself, nourish yourself, be there for your inner child. You are living poetry. It's wanting you to treat your life as something sacred, treat your experiences in life as something sacred. Like, remember, like, the sacred flow of the sacred, the divine, that we're like in a soup of, that we are ourselves. And kind of coming from that whole narrative, how can that change the way you exist and inhabitate all of your moments? Really beautiful. One more card wanted to come up for you, Taurus. Fall in love with your own story. And, you know, as business owners, we do have to have our story of our life, and the challenges we face and how we overcame them and all of that. And so it can definitely speak to your story of life. And have you been really kind of feeling like this injustice about, you know, what you've experienced in life, and this comparison to other people? And it's like, how can you, coming back to that, like, you are living poetry, and that being in that sacredness that you are, and that you're swimming in the soup of, and falling in love with like your experience of this earthly experience, who you are as a soul, all these parts of your consciousness, and what that all is. Like, how can that be narrated in a way that's, you know, magical and amazing? And what does that mean? Like, what do you need to do? How can you do that for yourself? So I hope that's helpful, Taurus. Make sure to throw a like on this video. Appreciate you. And I hope to see you in the Healing Through the Zodiac 12-week online retreat. The link is below this video, and you can go check out all the details there. It's going to be really amazing. It's going to be held in the style of Sacred Feminine Circles with other women, and going to be really fun. You can go to empoweredwomenrise.com to find out about astrology, or to get my free astrology mini course. But definitely go to the link below and check out the Healing Through the Zodiac online retreat. There is nothing like this on the planet, and you will not learn the signs like this anywhere, and it's going to be applicational in your life. So sending you so much love, Taurus. Gemini, this full moon in your third house, your your house. Third house, all about your local environment. It's about siblings. It's a house about locomotion, being very ambulatory, you know, automobiles. So this could be getting a new car. This could be changing cars. This could be illuminating issues or things going down with siblings. This could be something going on in your local environment, changing, moving. I mean, Gemini energy is always shifting, right? This could be new understandings and new information coming in, new sparks. This could be making intellectual property. It is a Leo full moon. So third house intellectual property, like making your own unique content or courses or information that is your proprietary work in the world. This is so much of also getting your mind right, you know, using our minds in a way that serves us. Most of the thoughts we think are 60,000 thoughts a day, 80% are negative. Most people don't actually clean up their mind. We have experiences and all these hurts and emotions and things, and we don't clean it up. And then we just go on with life. And then we have all these experiences and it just keeps going on and on and on. And so then we just have this kind of like junk closet in our brain and all of these thoughts that are symptoms of all that junk closet going on of thoughts that were never cleaned up. And so that's why it's so important to really do powerful pens of paper thought work to manage your brain, to like learn how to think deliberately, to think on purpose, to create what you want to create in this world, and also just to have a better experience of life, just to narrate your life in a way that you're empowered, you're having fun, you know, you're enjoying your life. So definitely a full moon, all about this for you. It's this ninth house, third house axis with the sun and Pluto in the ninth, and bringing in big illuminations, maybe about your belief system and about how you've kind of been living in dogma or religious control, or under programming, or in the superiority and inferiority complex, or at the mercy of somebody who has one. And maybe this getting back to natural law and living by divine law, that you know what is right within yourself. The square to Jupiter in the 12th, all about energetic empowerment, really having you know, ditching the belief systems and just having you know, an ever evolving story of concepts that continue to evolve as you expand and grow your consciousness. The square meaning that it's challenging to let go of old belief systems that are connected to the wound and connected to past lives. This quincunx to Saturn in your 10th, excuse me, all about your Saturn, all about your Saturn, yep, about your sacred calling, your soul mission, about your taking up space in the world and doing work in this world, and your business, your career, etc. This quincunx meaning that whatever this Leo full moon is about for you, you have to look around your life and kind of look through everything I said and start to understand, oh, this is what it's about for me. Astrology should really be correlation, observation should really be you being able to use it in your own life to have the power of astrology for yourself. That's the way that I work with astrology, to really empower women at the highest levels. And so this quincunx is this adjustment energy. It is this very much like growing pain type of energy. So maybe you're really expanding in your business, you're getting great insights, you're making intellectual property, and also it feels like shit because like this is unfamiliar territory. You're doing new things you haven't done before. You have to step into greater visibility, step up your voice, speak on stage for the first time maybe. And it's like, it doesn't feel good just because it's like what we want to do and it's our vision. Like in our head, it seems like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get visibility and increase my revenue and my business is gonna be XYZ and it's gonna be amazing. And really it just sucks and feels horrible. You know, later after we really kind of master it and integrate it, it feels great. but then we're off to the next goal before we've even like really relished in it. And so there's something here about relishing in what you have achieved and accomplished and celebrating that to give yourself the aplomb that you deserve for going through all the growing pains you've come through from before, you know, all of the work you did from before, and really honoring and celebrating your accomplishments while you're grabbing for the next place there. So let's pull you some cards, Gemini. Manifesting and doing. This is really wanting you to remember the co-creation with the divine, but also must take action. It's a both. Is your action inspired? Also, are you just waiting for inspired action? Like we want to take actions, maybe little actions, because that will give you clarity, that will give you information, that will inform the actions thereafter, and will help. But we don't want to stay in stagnation at all. This is a fire full moon. You are the muse, like remembering the inspiration flows through you out, that you have endless abilities to connect with your own font of inspiration. And so if you're feeling uninspired, or if you're like, I don't know what to create or where to get my ideas from, like realize it's within you. Like inspire yourself and like lift yourself up. You know, do you need to take in information and take in a bunch of information to spark what is already within you and start getting ideas and channeling and information comes through? Or do you need to color or dance or sing or go play, go skate, like go skydiving, do something fun, have an adventure, connect with other people, get hugs, like self-pleasure, like do all of the things that we as humans need. We need community, we need validation, we need seen by loving people, people that we are kindred with. We need kindred connection and community. And everybody's been going through so much, and we have been dropping old ways. We've been partnering with people, with life, with areas of our life. And so we may be in relationships that have went through a death and rebirth process, and we're learning how to navigate within that in a new way. And so realizing that you have every ability, you're the battery that creates the spark, but it doesn't mean you don't connect the battery to something else to help with that. You are epic. So there's something here about wanting you to realize, you know, how important you are, that you matter. This is this Leo energy of understanding that I'm important, I have gifts, I matter, my thread in the tapestry, like Aquarius, the whole tapestry, but my thread has to be there. Otherwise there's a hole, there's a gap. And so we are also important. Like the Leo shadow can be the self-aggrandizement. And so many of you are afraid you're going to be arrogant, afraid you're going to be egocentric. So you don't actually value yourself at the highest levels, value your gifts, be confident, be secure, get out on stage, be visible, have leadership. You know, like we have to realize the difference between the two. Like you can really value and love yourself and know what you're worth and know the special you know, gifts that you bring to this world, understanding like you're epic, understanding that you're magical and that you have an important gift here to bring without being a megalomania. So feed your artist came up of really feeding your light, feeding your joy, feeding your spark, feeding your energy, your life force energy. You know, Leo energy is life force energy. So what feeds that? It might be sleep, it might be a hot shower, a bath, it might be nature, it might be taking a vacation, it might be working a lot more and really putting out a ton of creative effort to find that groove, to find that momentum, you know, whatever it is for you, but it's asking you to tap into that. Sending you so much love, Gemini. Throw a like on this video, please. Really helps other women find this work. And I hope to see you at my Healing to the Zodiac 12-week online retreat. The link is below. You can go check out all the details of that link. So I hope to see you over there. And if you want to download my free astrology mini course, you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com. Lots of love. Till next time, Gemini. All right, Cancer, Leo full moon in the second house for you. Definitely about money, lack, prosperity, land ownership, the resourcefulness within yourself, valuing yourself at the highest levels, self-love, self-worth. Like, where's your self-worth at? This Leo moon is really illuminating probably some like deep heart sensitive vulnerability, hurts around money, around owning land, or Maslow's hierarchy of needs issues, or like really valuing yourself and self-worth, really believing you have gifts and talents and abilities, and can create and build and grow things. So something is illuminated here about these types of topics and issues. This could literally be like material possessions of any kind. Um, and so this could be an expansion or a learning with this axis of the eighth house and sex, death, taxes, merging with important people to overcome something within yourself that you don't know, or some lesson that your limitation you're working to overcome. Has this square to Jupiter in the 11th about your audience, friends, bringing your gifts to the world. There's some challenge with your optimism, your hope, your beliefs in yourself, really expanding your ability to have an outlook on life and a belief in what you are capable of. And this quincunx to Saturn in the 9th, definitely a lot here about the beliefs that you've accumulated through past lives and this life that are maybe preventing you from stepping into the highest level of self-value and performance and accomplishment, and wanting you to really, like, there's some growing pains here, some adjustments with Saturn in the 9th to like what you believe, and connecting to man-made law versus natural law, to expanding. This could be issues with trying to travel abroad, with going on adventures that you're wanting to go on. Like maybe you're having some adjustments that you have to make there, like nothing's really flowing right. It doesn't mean to stop. It doesn't mean that it's off. It just means that that it's just this like clunky energy that doesn't have like flow to it, and it's not forever. So just know that a lot of times when we have obstacles, we often just stop. It doesn't mean stop. It just means that it's clunky, and that's okay. Nothing went wrong here. So some big things for you, Cancer. I'm gonna pull you some cards. All right. Shift the way to new potential. Card is in reverse. It's saying that there is some growing pains um, with wanting to grow, wanting to shift, wanting to do the inner work with maybe emotions, and being willing to feel your emotions, to allow your emotions, witnessing them, holding space for them. That is very challenging for a lot of people. Like shifts, transformation, all of it means huge emotions. Pluto, transformation or evolution, or Pluto is transmutation. So Pluto is all those things, alchemy. Pluto is Scorpio, emotions, water. So very much that is how we actually transform, is through the emotions. It's how we evolve, is through the emotions. It's where we get all of our power back and our information. Pluto is power through the emotions. So you are light. It is wanting you to tap back in. There's something going on here where like you're not remembering that you yourself are light, and you're kind of wanting it to come for you, to help you, and you have to activate that within yourself, tap back into it, do the things that nourish you to connect back to it. Don't let your mind be going down all the dark alleyways. Like, are you managing your mind? Sometimes the best thing to do is pattern interrupt, or to just ignore it, like conscious distraction, depending on what is exactly going on there. I teach my clients all of that. And you got get back to the elemental, good night's sleep, great food, nature, time off, connection, pleasure, the things we need. I have a great episode of the podcast. You can find it at empoweredwomenrise.com that is called Are You Fully Resourced? And it's a really great episode that will help you to really get back to the elementals. So I really encourage you to go to Empowered Women Rise and check out the podcast page where I have this podcast episode called Are You Fully Resourced? Really, really good episode. What does your soul say? So it's wanting you to get out of your head and connect into your higher self soul. Higher self soul, same thing. It's like connecting into our higher self that is partially in our body and partially out of our body, being able to see around all the obstacles and see every maneuver and to make much better decisions than our ego mind can make. And so connecting, tapping into that, meditating, communing, and really asking your soul to take the lead and getting your fearful limbic brain out of the equation. Pull you one more card, Cancer. Cut the cords of doubt. So really making sure to cut doubt off at the pass and not letting it grow within your mind, not letting those types of thoughts fester, because later you realize, like, all this time they've been in there growing a garden of doubt, and then you have to go in and get the weed whacker out in your own brain, and it's better just to cut them off at the pass right away. So really being aware of where you have doubt thoughts, feelings, and working with that. Definitely my clients always learn that in Alchemical Goddess, my 6-month coaching program. Sending you so much love, Cancer. Hope to see you in the Healing Through the Zodiac 12-week online retreat that's happening starting January 30th, and the link is below if you want to find out more details. Hope to see you there. If you want the free astrology mini course, you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com. Lots of love. Please throw a like on this video. It helps other women to find this really helpful information. See you next time, Cancer. All right, Leo, full moon for you happening in that first house of identity, how you deal with threats. Are you dealing with threat in the shadow or in the light, in a positive way or an unhelpful way? This is illuminating things about your personality, your ego, your sense of your own self, who you are, how you're showing up in the world, like the confidence or the vulnerability, what's going on here. So it's illuminating a lot. There is some passage happening, some closing of the old and some beginning of the new happening here. The square to Jupiter in your 10th house of career, sacred calling, soul mission, really having that optimism for what you want to create and that belief in that, and that, determined action towards the goal of the Taurus. With the square, there may be growth pains here, challenges with that, challenges with bringing your unique personality into your business, of understanding how to merge the two. Also the self-reliance, like Jupiter is expanding your own capabilities and your connection to what you're capable of in this 10th house. So it may mean that a lot of times when you reach for help in business, in your work, in your career, help is not there because it's turning you in on yourself to learn what you yourself, what resources and talents and abilities and skills you yourself have, that without that experience you cannot find otherwise, and you wouldn't know that you have those capabilities otherwise, and you wouldn't grow in your own self-sufficiency. So this quincunx to Saturn in the 8th, really wanting to explore your spiritual connection, explore how you can use your relationships to overcome your own obstacles and blocks in a positive way. But there's growing pains here. Things aren't flowing right. Definitely, like, things are shifting and there's, some adjustment going on here. Pull you some cards, Leo. Creator alchemy, wanting you to step into the creator, like remembering, get out of the victim role, get out of the disempowerment, and remembering who you are, that identity, and your ability to create the reality that you want to create, using your will to create your destiny, like accomplishing your goals with your own will of your heart. Invoke the will of your heart, invoke the will, your determination and your drive and your ability, and get out of any sort of disempowerment or victimhood or entitlement. That Leo shadow can be entitlement. So really getting into creating whatever it is that you want to happen in your life. X marks the spot. What do you really want? It's in a protection message. So there's some maybe all over the placeness, lack of clarity, kind of shooting many arrows in all directions, like being successful in life and business. It's about constraining and really being on the no train. And so how are you not constraining your life and kind of all over the place? And so you can't focus to fruition here. Fearless expression, wanting you to speak your voice. And so maybe it's time to celebrate where you got to in that, but it's wanting you to step to the next up level of speaking your voice, putting yourself out there. So what does that mean for you? What does that look like? How are you having fearless expression? Like, where is the fear at? You know, then that's the area where you need to act. So you got this card. What's the honest truth? So there's something here, you know, with that Leo energy, it can be always playing a role, which means you don't actually have to interact with people from your authentic true self. And that's this wounding of the Leo energy, where there's this wounding of trust, this damaged trust, of a willingness to be vulnerable and comfort and have, you know, comfort and joy. So that, like, this Leo energy can, you know, if you have a Leo sun, it can be damaged trust is why you have that Leo sun, because you're meant to develop, you know, this really like healing trust, and also having this really like simple, unambiguous joy of just being. So, you know, really getting honest with yourself, at least if it's no one else, because that is going to allow you to progress forward. Anything else is just going to be quicksand. Sending you lots of love, Leo. So make sure you put a like on this video so other people can find this. Really appreciate that. And I hope to see you in our Healing Through the Zodiac 12-week online retreats. It's going to be amazing. I hold it in the style of sacred feminine women's circles, and this is really powerful. You can go to the link below this video and check it out. It's women's only. So sending you lots of love, and go to empoweredwomenrise.com if you want to download my astrology mini course for free. Lots of love till next time. All right, Virgo, full moon in your 12th, something is closing out here, something is closing out, something's beginning, but this is a big illumination, and so much of creativity, passion, joy, you know, all of that. But in the energetic realm, like how, you know, there's going to be some things like really revealed, like in the energetic realm and world, like playing with those energies, empowerment. A lot of us don't really have energetic empowerment. You don't have strong boundaries, or you have too many boundaries up and you can't actually tap into your own intuition or work with other people or connect, and you're not letting that be a free flow, or you have no boundaries. It's often one of the two. Or, you know, like how can you be energetically empowered, where you can work with the energies to create the highest levels? It is this creation energy. Also illumination of past life connections to what's going on now. The square to Jupiter, you know, difficulty with your beliefs, with traveling abroad, with your being that expert in the world, and standing for your leadership, standing in that leadership role as the expert, the one who is the one speaking and standing on stage. So there may be some overcoming of wounds to be able to do that. You may be having an upgrade in that area, but it's a square. So there's a challenge here, there's a growth pains here with this quincunx to Saturn in the 7th house, you know, this growing pains with people in relationships, people not maybe on the same wavelength, not doing things the way that you want, and having to make adjustments, change of plans, and it can just be a challenging, difficult energy. So definitely look for things in your relationship area and standing in your expertise or traveling abroad, and in your belief systems might be getting a shakeup. And so definitely a lot happening in your psyche and your consciousness. And your cards are prosperity sisters, or happiness and joy, wanting you to remember that, you know, that our ancestors and indigenous cultures understand that it's joy, and it's like fun, like the fire dance that creates and manifests and makes things happen, and it's that joyful energy. My guides are always harping's not the right word, but just like always constantly encouraging to tap into your joy, to go get happiness, to go be happy, go play, go do things that you love. Like no matter how much I'm wanting to accomplish, or they're telling me to do, there's always this message of make sure you're doing things to make yourself happy, that you enjoy, that you love, that you're feeding that. And it's just so primary. It is really the most primary thing, because if you're creating from anywhere else, like how effective is it? Fearless expression, really remembering that wherever you're feeling fear of putting yourself out there at the next level, this is an upgrade. It's stepping into that next level. So that's where you need to go in and do that inner work. It's wanting you to express, speak your voice, state your boundaries, tell people what you need, put yourself out there, get your name out there. That's the only way to grow your business. So and the how question means you got to find the answers. So ambush fear with your ferocious dreams of really making your fears less than your ambitions, than your goals, focusing on what you can do instead of focusing on everything you're afraid of and why not and all the limitations. You got to focus on what you can do. One of my favorite thoughts is I am focusing on what I can do. So really important. Sending you lots of love. Throw a like down on this video. Really helps other people try to find this important information, maybe at just the right moment when they need it. I hope to see you at our Healing to the Zodiac 12-week online retreat. It's going to be amazing, held in sacred feminine women's circles type of style. It's for women only, and you can find out all the details at the link below. And it's really going to be an amazing container of sacred feminine bonds. We're going to have, the chance to get to know each other personally. We're going to work with our own natal birth charts in this container and go through the signs in a way that you've never learned them before, and make them actually applicational in your life. So that is below, and go to empoweredwomenrise.com to download my free astrology mini course. Sending you lots of love. All right, Libra. All right, Libra. Full moon happening in your 11th house of friendships, of in-personal relationships, of groups, collaborations. It's your audience in your business. Very much some illumination is happening here, some expansion of your creativity, and also just really taking your will to create your destiny, which may mean getting out and meeting people, building relationships, really thinking about referral partners and collaborations and the things that one must do in the beginning of a business or for a while in most businesses, and really building those relationships that matter. Square to Jupiter and your 8th house, like the fears may come up, the subconscious repressed things that you can't maybe name are like possibly stopping you, making you stop. A lot of times when we feel an issue, a limitation, a block, we just stop instead of actually addressing that itself as what must be done as part of taking action on our dreams and creating great relationships, connections, community. Maybe you're making a community and you're building and growing that. As quincunx to Saturn and your 6th house of your health. There's some growing pains with your health and your functioning there, some growing pains with your day-to-day life and what's going on. There can be just some difficulties, some challenges things not going exactly the way that you want or even close, and it's not forever, it's just for now, but a little bit challenge there going on, but it will shift, and maybe you're being asked to do the very thing that you're resisting, and or maybe you are now taking great self-care of yourself when you didn't before. So definitely look for the growth and how you're handling things in such a different, beautiful way. Maybe it's the same variables, but you're really handling it in a new way. You've got ambush your fear with your ferocious dreams, like really making your your goals and your vision and your beautiful gifts way more important than the things that you fear, like really focusing on what you can do, what you can create, what you can accomplish, rather than all the fears trying to limit you and hold you back. We just, we can let so much hold us back, and we can maybe not mean to, and it be holding us back. So find solutions if you're not meaning to, but you're seeing it happening. The good kind is really this card about realizing the good person within you, the good that you can do, the good naturedness of who you are. Maybe that got tamped, or that you got gaslighted on that, or maybe you got told things in reality, or maybe your circumstances are really skewing that. But just really tapping into the good naturedness within you, and also seeing and looking for the good naturedness within all of life that you can find, and connecting to that, and connecting to the next thing of that, and the next river of that, next river of that, to be like in the soup, this river of flowing to all of those kindred places, people, events, situations that are really good natured and positive, uplifting, that feed your light, that inspire, encourage, etc. Getting back to the elemental of really getting enough rest, eating nutrient dense food, getting time in nature, making sure you get enough connection and love and hugs, making sure you're self-pleasuring and self-inspiring, and having stillness and self-connection time, self-intimacy time. Just it's like the basics, what are the basics that maybe you let go of, or maybe we're offline and that you need to kind of just recalibrate, put them back in place, make sure you're doing those routines that really support your creativity and your expansion and your growth, and support your optimism. You are the light. So there's sometimes this like victimhood with that, and this disempowerment of like, really denying the truth of the light being you are here to bring, to beam your light to this world, to shine the shadow, which may mean people are very confrontational with you and don't really like all their shadow being illuminated, and just by virtue of you being who you are. But unfortunately, that is the cross that we bear as a light being. And so not making that mean that something went wrong or you're doing something wrong, but really understanding that is a part of the mantle we carry as light bringers, as star seeds, or as awakened ones, world servers, etc. So sending you lots of love, Libra. Make sure to throw a like on this video. And I hope to see you in the Healing Through the Zodiac 12-week online retreat. The link is below, so go find out more details about that. Hope to see you there. It's really a magical experience. You'll learn about the signs in a way that no other astrologer teaches, that you haven't ever heard anywhere else, to actually use it in your life, to be really empowered in your life in a powerful way. We're going to do it in the style of Sacred Feminine Circles as well. So hope to see you there. Go get the details at the link below. And anything else you can find at empoweredwomenrise.com. Lots of love till next time. All right, Scorpio. Moon is in your 10th house. 10th house, 4th house axis lit up for you at this full moon. And the 10th house is your sacred calling, your career, your soul mission. And so there's an illumination happening. Maybe you're stepping into this upgrade, this up level, and you're really feeling your oats, and you're really taking up space in the world, and you're really accomplishing, and things are just really, really shifting. Or maybe you're really seeing the steps to that place. There's definitely wanting to like take your will to create your destiny, and you might need to really celebrate how you've been doing that, or you're on to the next phase of that. The square to Jupiter in your 7th house is this issue in relationships related to your soul mission, and related to your sacred calling. There's challenges, difficulties, maybe people are holding you back or resentful, or maybe people don't understand what you got to do for you, or maybe people aren't understanding the like mountain you've climbed to get where you are, or how important it is that you do your mission, or maybe that is the answer. But the tensions within relationships around your soul mission and your career, and there's things to resolve there, there's difficulties, but that is like a death and rebirth. That square, those tensions, those challenges are like, it is a death and rebirth process. So there is getting through to the other side of that. There's this quincunx to Saturn in the fifth house of Leo's house of either children or romance, or your creative self-actualization. And so again, a quincunx there, Saturn there in that fifth house, maybe restricting your ability to really focus on your creative self-actualization right now. But Saturn is a catalyst. So whatever is the restriction right now is to catalyze you into greater effectiveness in your life. But there can be growing pains, adjustments, things just not flowing the way you want, or not really being able to do that right now, and being held back in some way. That is frustrating, but either we're learning or we're succeeding. So really, allow yourself to a lot of self-nurturance, and allow yourself to make sure your basics are covered, but also kind of gathering up what you're meant to transform, like how, what's meant to evolve within you here. Remembering you are epic, like really tapping into the truth of who you are, the light you're here to shine and to bring, the amazingness of you, like really understanding the beauty of who you are, and that is very different than megalomania or egomania, or being unhealthy pride. Like there's healthy pride to take within yourself. This is a Leo full moon. It's really highlighting all of the Leo archetype, which is standing on stage, self-possession, confidence, valuing the self, knowing the value you bring, being able to perform and entertain, and stand within this confidence. It's really like a radiating of well-being. There's this Leo energy radiates well-being. It's such a beautiful part of our whole zodiac of the necessary energies in the world. And we need that life of the sun, right? And so it's just like remembering that there's a difference between arrogance and self-value and self-belief and confidence and performing, and be able to hold the stage or hold the space. There's a difference between that, and just see like if you can just keep pulling that apart and not keeping yourself down from shining the beautiful light that we need from you in the world, because you're afraid that you're gonna be afraid of other people having something to say. There will be haters on this path. There will be haters, or being scared that you are an egomaniac of some sort. If you are, then you're not going to be questioning whether you are. So the fact that you're questioning it, you're not. And there will be haters. It's like there will be dragons, there will be haters. Just know it and be like, yeah, what? You got to grow that like, and what thing, you got to grow that quality. This is a Leo full moon. It's like, got to grow that ability to deflect, shift the way to new potential. It's in a protection message. So some challenges, adjustments, not necessarily flowing, but knowing that you are the one that makes the new potential happen, or that makes the goal happen, or this whole new energy that you can be operating with and working through, that it is through your efforts that happens. And also nourish yourself, give yourself credit, acknowledge what you have accomplished and all that you are doing. Cut the cords to doubt. Like you've got to cut doubt off at the pass. Like you really have to just not let it fester in your mind at all. if there's some already there, you want to go in and clean that up. I teach my clients that in one-to-one coaching in my coaching program. You want to go in and clean up the old festerings of self-doubt that you let grow inadvertently, unwittingly sometime in your life. But the new self-doubt that you notice, you don't want to give it quarter. You want to cut it off at the pass. You don't want to let that grow in your mind and just say, no, I'm not doing this. There's also, pattern interruption. There's other techniques that help, because sometimes we can't just push a button and turn it off. Sometimes there's some different things we're dealing with that make that a challenge. So I teach my clients in that one-to-one coaching. If you've been, thinking about that, and go to my homepage on empoweredwomenrise.com and book a free discovery call. You got fierce serenity, and it's this sturdy redwood tree within yourself, this like sturdy sequoia, this giant tree that is just sturdy within any environment and wind and hurricane and tornado and fire or anything. It's like never losing that solidness within your own self, and almost just like valuing your serenity at this highest value point, that anything that would usurp that, it's like just like this fierceness of valuing your joy, your happiness, the things that feed your light, the things that keep you going, just making that such a priority, and having this fierceness about it. Like, it's where it's just, it's a priority, it's like a mother with a child. The child's always going to be that priority. Nothing's going to like come into the way. So it's almost that way with your peace, with your sanity, with your sense of being okay in the world, etc. And last card, please, Creator Earth. It's in a protection message. And so it's just like really not getting upset about what you can manifest and what you can't right now, or the creative things that you're trying to work on, like really not, being upset that you may be in an adjustment or stalled, like seemingly stalled out, but just kind of on pause, not letting that take you down or make you narrate things in a way that doesn't help you or serve you. So really understanding that it's temporary. So narrate that in a positive way for your empowerment, and really see if you can just choose it yourself and be conscious about it. Conscious choice, make the decision, like, I'm taking this time here to do this, and so on. So lots of love. Throw a like in this video. Really appreciate you being here. And I hope to see you at the Healing Through the Zodiac 12-week online retreat. I'm doing this in a Sacred Feminine Women's Circle style. The last one I did was really amazing. All of the women had such amazing bonds we developed with each other, such amazing transformation and shifts and healing happen in that container. So really hope to see you here for this one starting on January 30th. And it is going to be amazing. You're not going to learn astrology anywhere else like this, and it will be applicational in your life so you can empower yourself at the highest levels. So you can go to the link below to find out all the details. Hope to see you there. Everything else is at empoweredwomenrise.com. Lots of love till next time. All right, Sag, full moon for you is in your 9th house, and very much about that expertise, traveling abroad, adventure, expansion of your mind, expansion of your space, really being the leader, being the one with expertise, being the one with the talking points and the things that you're teaching, being a teacher and exploring. And this is the house of publishing. And so it's like, what are you creatively self-actualizing? How are you taking your will to create your destiny in this area of your life? Is it time to finally get the plane trip scheduled? Is it buy the plane ticket? Is it finally ready to like expand into new studies, areas of study? Is it time to up level in your expertise or the next, like the course that you're teaching? What is happening for you here? You've got, this could be a really vulnerable, tender heart in these areas, and some heart hurts too that must be overcome. I mean, this is a square to Jupiter in the 6th. Health issues, maybe you're sick and you can't do the things you want to do right now, and you're overcoming that. When planets, Pluto changed signs, people get sick when planets are at the last degree, when they change signs like this, the outer planets. These are big major huge shifts in our life and our world and the energies in our consciousness. These are not small things, big things. When outer planets change, we have Neptune going to hit the last degrees for months this year of Pisces. Pluto sitting at that 29 degree of Capricorn for a while, going to hit it again in September. So just know health can be affected here, tiredness, etc. And just realizing that also this is maybe your daily life and your schedule and things being impacted is square. Maybe, your schedule is not allowing you to do the things you want to do in your business or take the trip that you want to take, or maybe you have to change your whole schedule and the way you organize things to be able to take that trip. This is definitely themes like this. So, very much wanting to wanting to expand in your resourcefulness, understand like the resourcefulness that is within you, like your ability to be MacGyver and figure things out. But this is probably challenging. Quincunx to Saturn, adjustment, energy, growing pains, things not flowing exactly how you want, things not going the way you want in like home and family life. Like maybe, family is holding you back, or you're having issues with family members. Maybe you have kids and you've got to take care of them. And so you're choosing them over other things in your life, or maybe you're taking your kids in a backpack to climb the mountain because you want to go on the adventure, Moon in the ninth house. Jupiter ruling your sign is in the sign of Taurus, of self-reliance, also of really that gathering inward and that intimacy with self and upgrading self-worth. And so there may just be some challenges with upgrading self-worth and stepping into your confidence and really building your home life and your foundation or your emotional stability with how you want. Maybe there's a lot of emotions to process. Maybe you don't have the skills. I do all of that in my coaching program with my clients. And so maybe it's like really learning emotional management, so you have that for the rest of your life, because that really truly is underneath everything that we want or desire or want to create. So let's pull you some cards, Sag. You got lead your metamorphosis. So Pluto definitely is all about transformation, transmutation, which is a completely different thing than it was before, whereas transformation is just something about that thing shifts. Metamorphosis is that transmutation, a completely different thing. And Pluto is power, shifting powers within ourselves, meaning like our motivation, that's power. Like what motivated us? Was it revenge that motivated us? Or, romantic love, like we're sold in rom-coms? Or is it like something deep? This is fourth house Saturn for you, like something deep within yourself, like this clear emotional stability and foundation within yourself and your own unique vision and ideas and dreams. This moon in your ninth house, like your vision for your life, your business, your purpose, really being from within you and not from these motivations that can be usurped, can be destroyed, can be eliminated, and maybe hard to replace. So lead your metamorphosis, like definitely wanting you to not be at the mercy of these changing energies, but for you to take the reins and to jog the horse down the particular track that you want to go down. Who do you want to be? What do you want that thing or project to become? How can you take it by the reins? So I'll pull you. I only pulled you one card. Yeah, I only pulled you one card. Sorry. One step ahead is all you need. It's in protection message. So there's something here about like letting your future vision disrupt your now ability to take action step by step by step. Sometimes also that Sag energy can be scattered or wanting to shoot many arrows at all different things. There's a time to throw things at the wall and see what sticks. And then there's a time to really be constrained and focus to fruition. And that's the only way we can really accomplish is like constraining. But there is a time to throw things at the wall and to try all these different things. But if you try everything all at once, you don't know what's working and what's not. So you really just have to try one thing at a time and evaluate what's working, what's not. And then you can find out if that change was effective or not, and then try something else. So one step at a time is all you need. And creator fire, really wanting you to realize that you are the manifester, that you do have that ethereal inspiration. You can gather inspiration from the whole entire world. There's so many places, books, audios, conversations, videos, like podcasts, like there's so many places to get inspiration. And I wouldn't dilly dally and spend much time in places that aren't uplifting, inspiring, believing in you, supporting you, nurturing you. I wouldn't spend much time in places like that. Shitty horror film. Like I don't watch horror movies because it's just like, I don't want to like do that to myself and my psyche. I let myself be in beauty, wherever I can find beauty. And, the ruler of your sign is in Taurus, the ruler of beauty, that rules beauty. And our ancestors understood the practicality, Taurus, of beauty, Taurus. So, your planet, Jupiter, is in the sign of beauty. It might mean that it's time to hang out in beautiful places that are nourishing your spark, nourishing your creative fire, nourishing your ability to know that you can create results that you desire, and that obstacles and blocks don't mean stop. It just means pivot, micro pivots, tiny course corrections. When you fly a plane, it's not big course corrections, it's just like little tiny adjustments. And so just realize that don't stop, keep going, but evaluate to know what to change, what not to change, what's working, what's not working, etc. And then, what are 3 steps you can take? The edge of evolution feels messy. Like often when we're doing our big wild dream, our big audacious goal, it actually doesn't feel good when we've made the decision and we're starting to take steps towards the implementation of that decision and following that through to completion. It often does not feel good. So, decisions often come with a lot of negative feelings because it means we're going to grow. It means we're going to do something unfamiliar. It means we're going to finally, means we have a lot of work ahead of us. Saturn. So don't let that make it mean that, it means, it's wrong or bad or it's not working. That's not true. So nourish the sacred feminine. It's in a protection message. So it's really like saying like maybe you're too much in your masculine energy, or maybe you're letting, the patriarchy dominate and rule you or program you and not really dismantling those programs. Or maybe you've shed all of that and you're like learning how to connect with your sacred feminine. Maybe there's emotions to process. Maybe you just need a bath. But there's something here with it being in a protection message of like, maybe you've like pushed that down, pushed that away because like you wanted to get into certain doors or certain spaces. And we've kind of known as women from birth, just an understanding that like, the feminine isn't allowed or, must be silenced or is trivialized, etc. And so maybe it's starting to realize the power of the sacred feminine and connecting to that and realizing the importance of that and bringing that forward, making that primary or nourishing her within yourself. And connecting with that energy. It could just be simply like working with your emotions, your intuition, listening, meditating, playing, dancing, spinning, twirling, flowing, but just getting connected to that inner beautiful self, the mystery, the goddess. So there's something there that's really important here. Sending you lots of love, Sag. Please throw a like on this video so other women can find this information. I hope to see you in the Healing Through the Zodiac 12-week online retreat. Happens on January 30th. The link is below, so go find out all the details. I hope to see you there. Anything else, go to empoweredwomenrise.com. Lots of love. Till next time. Capricorn, this moon for you is in the 8th house, sex, death, taxes. And it's the spiritual metaphysical realm. It's the psychological realm, getting to the bottom and the root cause and core of things. This is about overcoming obstacles and blocks. This is the house of like deep, intimate bonds and merging and sex and, marriage and partnership in that way. And, this is the underworld and the dark world of life, like the shadow, the subconscious realm, all of our shit, shadow, and challenge. Are you dealing with the subconscious repressed material? Is that coming up for you? Is this about, self-pleasure and sex? Is this about overcoming obstacles for you? Is this about like your romantic partnerships or wanting sexual, the relationship that has the sex in it, the deep, intimate relationships? We need new names for relationships these days because, I never believed in marriage. But partnership doesn't necessarily mean like sexual relationship is involved, etc., the intimate relationship, etc. But this is intimacy. So it's intimacy psychologically, it's intimacy spiritually with that invisible realm, with those invisible worlds, like connecting to that understanding that that's what is breathing all of life. There's something illuminated here, or something you're expanding here, or some success that you're having here, finally, connection, psychic gifts coming online, got the relationship that you want, having the beautiful sexual, the celebration of sexuality, which sexuality should be celebrated, but it's depraved in our world, almost like 99%. So really claiming the sexuality and the sexual experience that you want for yourself, taking your power back here. Watery emotions house, this square to Jupiter and the 5th house of self-actualization, kids, romance, this is Saturn in your 3rd house of what you think, how you understand things. So very much this could be about your relationships and communication breakdowns, growing pains there. Things are stagnated, things not working out the way you want. This is temporary though, or this could be where you're really having this death and rebirth process, and there's just going to be this blooming happening. So just know that this is for something good this way comes. So the spark of creation, the spark of working in your business, the spark of doing your soul mission, your sacred calling, and the work that you're here to do, like the energy that you can get from that, the drive and the motivation, and being happy about all of that external validation. You got to let go of external validation, what others think. Remember that Libra South Node with Shiva there conjunct at this full moon. It's not, it's like really developing that, like, don't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks. There will be haters on this journey. If you are a light bringer, you bear the mantle of people being provoked by the shadow that's illuminated within them by your light shining. And, you have to check in with the experiences where you've had that experience yourself, or you were triggered because of someone else's light shining. And maybe you even like projected it onto them without realizing the dynamic that was occurring. But if you can get real about you having done it yourself and understand like what people are going through, and maybe try to give us all humans some grace, but also sometimes it's like, no, look, they don't have to have access to you if people can't value you and can't respect your light. But definitely turn off that like give a fuck about other people's opinions and seeking external validation. Yes, we all need validation, but in a healthy way, of somebody just understanding our experience of life, or having that symbiosis conversation where you both just are like completely, putting it into words for the other person, and just that way where it's like, yes, like, oh my God, mic drop, that's exactly what I'm saying. We all need that, but there's a difference between the two. So celebrate your wins. There's something here about really how we're always going for the goal, how that doesn't really often feel good when we're in it, even though it's like the thing we want. And how we must like celebrate what we have accomplished, and all of the discomfort we already faced, and all of the things that we already learned and grew through. We have to like honor everything we've done so that we can celebrate that, acknowledge that, like pat ourselves on the back, because every time we're reaching for new goals, new accomplishments, overcoming limitations, we're really pushing through sludge sometimes, or walking through molasses, or really like facing all of our inner stuff. And so we really want to celebrate our wins, like really make that big, really turn the volume up on that. Creator water, really asking you to feel your emotions. That Capricorn energy can really be stuck emotions, or not feeling your emotions all the way through, or pushing your emotions down to climb the mountain. That Capricorn energy is about going from here to there, changing your state, your status in life, all of that kind of stuff. So really want to feel your emotions. I have a 12, I have a 4-step process I teach my clients, and they become incredibly emotionally empowered, like never before. And it's a skill that you have the rest of your life, and everything that we want to create is because of how we think it's going to make us feel. And everything that we want to get away from is because of the way it's making us feel. It's because of how we feel. So we want to really understand that our emotions are our friends, our emotions are our power, our emotions are a gift. They have messages for us. They have power to retrieve. They are not something to want to run away from. They are something that you want to activate, to work with, to understand, to be powerful with, and masterful with, because literally it will get you everything you want in life. So sending you so much love, Capricorn. You got that big message. Please throw a like down this video. Really appreciate you being here. And I'd love to see you in the Healing Through the Zodiac 12-week online retreat starting on January 30th. I'm doing it in the style of Sacred Women's, sharing circles, sacred feminine women's circles. I'm doing it in that style. When I did this last time, it was so powerful. We grew such amazing close bonds. It's a women's only event, and really had such huge transformation and alchemy going down in that. It was just like so mind-blowing what transpired there. And I'm still like having shifts and ripple out from that. And that was like my container last year. So I hope to see you in this one. You can go to the link below and get all the details. And for anything else, you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com. All right, Aquarius. This moon is happening in 7th house of relationships for you. It's square Jupiter in this 4th house, and quincunx to that Saturn and the 2nd house for you. Very much about self-reliance, inner emotional security within your relationships and partnerships, and tolerance for other people, yet not letting people walk all over you or doing what they think is the way to live life, but you actually having value for yourself and your own view of how to live life, and really having emotional security, not letting that be based on the glamorization of materialism and having your security based on the car and money in the house, but actually based upon your ability to handle any emotion that happens at any moment in time. And how when you have that, you have everything, you have all the stability in the world. Really, Pluto going into your sign, if it's your rising sign, like we'll talk about this on the Pluto ingressing Aquarius video in the sun sign horoscopes there. So you want to go watch this video for me to go like completely download you with all the dirty details on that, because it's really big for you, Aquarius, whether this is your sun or your rising. It's a big deal. And also it's a 20-year transit. So when is it hitting your particular sun or rising? About 18 months before your exact transit is when you will feel it. But, huge rebirth, huge things shifting. And for all the fixed signs, there's squares happening. So I definitely understand that this full moon for you is opposite your 1st house, in that 7th house, opposite your identity, opposite your personality, how you deal with threat. And so, your appearance, your character. So it's really this full moon illuminating something here important about you within relationships. Either you have had massive growth and you stand up within your autonomy and have interdependent, healthy relationships, or you're now seeing that that's what needs to happen and you're moving towards that, or you're just like keep up leveling in your growth. But Saturn in your 2nd house is like maybe difficulties with money or material possessions or Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or just self-value and self-worth, and knowing how capable you are, knowing how resourceful you are. Like, are you the MacGyver? There is something here about maybe it is, it's a quincunx, so it's difficulty, it's a stressful aspect. It makes us do things 10 times, before we get it. There's no flow. It is clunky. It's always akin to, I always describe it as like a wooden roller coaster, where it's like not really that enjoyable, and it's throwing you around like this, and it's like and it's like just not fun, really. It's like one time maybe it's fun, but then after that you're like, never again, my body hurts. So it's that kind of energy when it comes to your self-value and what's happening in relationships. And maybe like it means relationships have to be adjusted wildly or need to go. And maybe that's painful and hurtful, or maybe you're not willing to do it, or maybe you have to go through the lesson 10 times, whatever it is, or maybe you've done it and now you're dealing with that. Also the square to Jupiter, wanting to expand, your self-reliance and your emotional landscape, and to expand your ability to build your foundation in a way that is nourishing and values you, but yet, and is also beautiful, but yet, maybe relationships are stopping that or interfering, or maybe you're getting out of an abusive relationship, or maybe you're up leveling and you're just dealing with all of the challenge and discomfort with up leveling, because up leveling doesn't necessarily feel good. What feels good is like the spiritual high and ecstasy, but then we actually have to go on the journey from here to there. It's like there's something about seeing the vision and having the clarity that we think like we get to hang out and live there. Like I wish, not really the case. The spark of creation. So in your work and like letting that spark feed you, letting that motivation, that clarity, that determination feed you and drive you. And, where can you get that at? One step ahead is all you need. And it's in a protection message. Man, I am shuffling these cards, but it's very similar reading to somebody. But just little steps at a time, little pivots. It might be a big pivot or it might be a little micro pivot, little course corrections. You might need to evaluate, see what's working, what's not, what step do you take next? But not letting your future vision screw with your now ability to take action right now in this moment, and realizing that obstacles don't mean stop. They mean evaluate what's working, what's not, where do I need to change something? And you just change one thing at a time. Otherwise you don't know what worked and what didn't about what you changed. Bliss is worth creating from. So really understanding that, it's like on this card, it's like bliss is worth creating from, crossed out for, crossed out from again. It's like it's worth creating from, it's worth creating for. It's like to get bliss, we want to already activate it within ourselves and be bliss, because then we create it, we have it, we own it, we are it, it is it, we're making it, we're becoming it, it's all of it. But we have the ability to activate emotions within our body. My clients learn this in my 6-month coaching container. It is so powerful to be able to activate inspiration. Like you may be feeling completely inconfident and completely insecure and having a moment of self-doubt and panic. And, you can go in and develop the skill of activating an emotion in your body that you want to feel, that you want to express and be that energy of, and put that out into the world. So we have so much power with our emotions, and emotional mastery is where it's at. Like this is really where we're evolving to with the humanity. And you just basically have this like huge, overarching message here. Prosperity sisters are happiness and joy. And really everyone kind of has this big overarching like main message with this moon. And remember, it's a Leo moon, playful, joyful, enthusiasm, fun, creativity, love. It's that kind of energy. So remember the happiness and the joy piece. Like, are you too mired in the like disconnected, impersonal, observer, like scientist mode, where you're like, really that cold metal disconnection kind of vibe of the Aquarius? Or are you really like in happiness and joy, blissful, activating emotions yourself, inspired, focused, happy, energetic, motivated, determined, this determination of this will of the heart, like invoking that, just knowing like, I just got to do one little step. There was some things I was having a struggle about doing this week, and I was just like, okay, what can I do? I'm going to focus on this one little thing. And then that like snowballed into the next and the next, and this a momentum develops. So just know you got it in you. Throw a like on this video. I really appreciate you being here. Can't wait to talk to you on the video of Pluto going into Aquarius. Big things, Aquarius. Sending you lots of love. Hope to see you at the Healing Through the Zodiac 12-week online retreat happening starting January 30th. Hope to see you there. The link is below. Go get the details. Come join us. It's going to be happening in a sacred feminine style. And when I did this like similar-ish but different retreat last year, it was so amazing. Like we just formed the most amazing female connection and bonds, heart-centered women, just really women where we're working on our life and our business and doing big things, but also, overcoming giant things within our own self that we're transforming within us. And, the conversations that were happening were just like, I'm still evolving from those conversations we had last year. So I hope you'll come join us. It was so incredibly powerful. Sending you lots of love, and the link is below. Anything else, go to empoweredwomenrise.com. See you soon, Aquarius. All right, last but best, Pisces. Let's do this. 6th house, 12th house axis for you. This moon opposite your home house, 12th house, the sun and Pluto in that energy there of the psychic energetic realms, all about psychic energetic empowerment. But this moon is in the house of tangible reality, Virgo energy, like really this Leo, like taking your will to create your destiny, playfulness, joy, enthusiasm, standing on stage, being confident, bringing your gifts to the world, like owning your importance and that you matter. Here's a woman. That Pisces energy can sometimes be reserved inside itself, but it is actually a very fierce energy that abhors restriction. It wants to be boundless and uncontained and have complete sensual freedom. And so this moon in the 6th house is saying that there must be these places for that boundless energy to land. And with, the ruler of your sign, both rulers, one is in Taurus, a very symbiotic sign for you, all about beauty and building and creating and valuing yourself and knowing the value that you bring and making that real, making that tangible. And also, this moon is illuminating your schedules, your lifestyle. How is that helping you or hurting you? How's it holding you back or progressing you forward? Also about your health, what things about your health are driving you nuts that you're really wanting to move forward, or where have you had quite a bit of shift and progression? You've been working on things and honoring all the things that have been taking place or happening or working or coming to fruition. Really important to do. Square the other ruler of your sign, Neptune, hanging out with Saturn in this first house, obviously all about identity, threat, your character, your personality, your appearance, your ego. This is all this quincunx energy of your identity, who you are. It's getting a massive quincunx at this time of this full moon. So it's where maybe it's just not functioning the way you want it to. Maybe you're not coming across how you want to. Maybe you don't, like, you lost the plot. That's possible with Saturn here. Saturn can restrict to catalyze. Saturn titrates, so maybe the full expression is really not going to be at this time, or maybe it is asking for you to grow and expand other areas of yourself that will allow for this full bloom of your sense of your identity, your sense of yourself, who you are. And Taurus here, with Neptune here, Neptune's about consciousness, about truth and falsehood, and really how your personality ego can be misled down wrong paths because of not discerning between truth and falsehood. And the only way we can learn is by going through the experience of it. And so never actually putting down having had the experience, because that is where wisdom is gained. So any difficulties you may have went through, of just like realizing the value in that and alchemizing it for everything that you can take from it. This Jupiter here, your other ruler of your sign, is in this 3rd house of understanding, communication, clarity, direction, intellectual property, siblings, your environment where you live, your community, your connections, your mindset, and the way you're thinking about things, the way you're allowing information to flow through you. Jupiter here is expanding your ability to self-govern, to know what your worth, your value is, your capability. Jupiter is optimism, it's knowledge, it's what we learn, it's our belief systems. And with Uranus co-present there, like really busting open all of the stuck places where we were really in narrow ways of believing or seeing or understanding. There's a square to this full moon here. So it's very much, frustrations with not having clarity, not understanding the direction, not knowing where you're going right now, or not being able to make the creative input happen, or to be able to have the schedule or the lifestyle that you want. Like this might be not having like the lifestyle or the schedule or the day-to-day world looking the way you want right now. There's a square here. It's a difficulty. However, the good news is that it's an applying square. It's going to be separating soon. Moon moves fast, and that it's an illumination. You're going to see all of this information that you really need. We're growing in clarity and direction up until February 5th, when Mercury gets out and hits that 0-degree mark of Aquarius. It's going to be really profound clarity and seeing and understanding happening right now, for these weeks here, and really powerful. So understand that this square is a death and rebirth process. It's going to come to good conclusions. Let's pull you some cards, Pisces. Prosperity sisters are happiness and joy, just like really making that a priority. Don't put that in the back seat, understanding like how important that is. Our ancestors understood the practicality of beauty and the practicality of joy. Our indigenous people still of the world today, but of yore, did fire rituals, did routines and dances and ceremonies, and made things sacred because they understood the power of that and the importance of that. And so you got soul on fire. So really understanding that you have this gift and this talent and this magic inside of you that the world needs, and that you're meant to bring forth, that you're meant to bring the ethereal light of the divine to the people. You're meant to be medicine and a balm for someone somewhere. You are needed in this world. And maybe it's time to do the upgrade. Maybe it's time to celebrate where you have gotten to and all the hard work you've done. Maybe it's time to really honor the gift that you are yourself to humanity, and understanding that all of us are needed right now. Being a soul on fire is really having that enthusiasm and that passion. If that enthusiasm and passion is not here, can you feed that? Can you how can you nurture it? How can you really push it forward? Your soul shines really is wanting you to realize like what a bright light you are. And unfortunately that light can shine the flashlight on the shadow of within other people, and they might not be ready for that, and they might have that mirror held up to them but blame you. That's par for the course with being a starseed or a light bringer or a visionary woman like we are, with being a soul that on fire, a soul that shines. Also though, all of those that need your light, you're going to be a lighthouse to them. So just know that while you are a flashlight in the dark, pissing people off in some areas, which is not your responsibility, you're also that lighthouse that guides people home into their own light themselves. So just know that you are important, you matter, you're that lighthouse that so many people need. Welcome the divine masculines and a protection message. And so that direction, that linear, like A plus B equals C kind of thing, it's in a protection message. So there's some sort of wanting to integrate and to explore there, and to maybe understand what the difference is between the masculine and the divine masculine, the sacred masculine, and how you can connect to that. What does that mean? Like, where is your protection of yourself? Where is holding the boundaries, like the banks of the river? Like, where is that within yourself? How can you be that sacred masculine energy for yourself? This isn't about another, this is about for your own self within you. Move beyond intention to belief. This is about will. This is about like literally like believing it into existence. There is something where this might seem like an esoteric conversation depending on where you're at, what you've experienced in this milieu, but there is something about creation, creating our goals, making things happen, making money, making a book happen, writing a book, whatever it is, like buying a phone, there's something about it where like we will it to happen. Think about like if you're pouring oil into your car, you could like pour it all over the car and like be like, ah, fuck, it's going everywhere. Or you could just like will it into the hole and like be pouring it and just like knowing that you're getting it into the hole and it's not going all over the place and you're making this happen. There's something about your expectation, your belief, your will, of making it so in your mind, in your beliefs, in your energy, and the way you show up. Like this is happening, like we're doing, this book is being published, this book is becoming, number one on the bestseller, etc. So there's something about that Pisces of playing with that ability, learning that skill, tapping into that, getting experience with that. And there's this card about what's the honest truth. And so there's something about like not deluding yourself, not being in the fantasy. We can make fantasies a reality, not realizing it. And we can like literally just build this whole reality and make it true, like make it like literal when it's not actually what we want deep down. And so we're living in this fantasy because that's the escape, because Pisces is escapism. Pisces is the insane asylum, madness. It's that thin line between the mystical and the madness. And so it is very important to know how we create like really like one of the ways that we do it that's just super simple is and super typical is where we make up stories about things. We make things mean things that they don't mean. And this is like a really Pisces thing we do. And this is like this Neptunian shadow where we make things mean things they don't mean. Like it could be like, I just like can't think of a good example right now, but like somebody expresses their regret to us and we make it mean that we're bad. It's like, you're not bad. Somebody's just expressing their emotions. They're having emotions. You're just a fact in their life, but their emotions about it are their responsibility. You didn't create their emotions. They create their emotions, or they have emotions coming up about because of trauma or whatever it is. But we don't create emotions in other people. Obviously with abuse, it's a whole separate topic. But, so it's like we can make things mean things that they don't mean and really like limit our life, inhibit our life in ways that just so fuck with our ability to be successful or to narrate things in ways that are powerful and helpful and get us, where we want to go in life. And it's just because we're making things mean things they don't mean. So this is a very Piscean thing. I hope that makes sense, sending you lots of love. Please throw a like down this video. I hope to see you in the Healing Through the Zodiac 12-week online retreat that's happening starting on January 30th. I held something similar but different content last year, and we had such amazing conversations that I'm still evolving from this year happen. Amazing sisterhood bonds were formed. This one's going to be even better, and you're not going to learn astrology like this anywhere else. I hope that you come join us. It is really reasonably priced, and it's 12 weeks. So we're going to be doing it in the style of Sacred Feminine Women's Circles each week, and it's just going to be so magical. And yes, there'll be replays. So I hope you go to the link below and find out all about it, and love to have you there with all of us. I'll be doing some free masterclasses and things coming up. So definitely get on Light Goddess Insider if you're not. And you can do that by going to empoweredwomenrise.com and just getting my free astrology mini course. And you'll be in Light Goddess Insider getting all of the scoop. So I'm sending you so much love, Pisces. See you next time. And hope to see you at the retreat. Lots of love.